Hello guys, welcome to the video. In this one, I want to show you how you can store information about multiple elements in one variable. As example, we're going to make 4 enemies, and then I'll show you how to make tower target a random enemy. So first, let's select the enemy. Let's press Ctrl D to duplicate. Place one here, maybe another one here, and another one over here. Okay. So now, let's imagine we want to have reference to each enemy on the tower script. Let's go to the script. And even if you don't have any experience, I'm sure that creating 3 new variables for each enemy feels wrong. Imagine we're doing this. Enemy 1, then enemy 2, and enemy 3. This really feels wrong. So instead, we can make an array. This is how we do it. We're gonna make public transform, then we put square brackets, and type enemy array. Now we're gonna save it, and let's go back to Unity. Over here in the inspector, you'll see we've got a new variable, and you can extend it by clicking this arrow, and you can extend this array by clicking plus over here. Now this array has 1 element, 2 elements, 3, and 4. And we can just drag enemies over here. And now, simple as that, we have reference to all of the 4 enemies under one variable. Now, if you want to get information about any of these enemies, you can just type something like, let's open start method. And for example, you can do debug log. Then you type name of a variable, enemy array, and then you need to check which of the enemies you want to get. For example, I want to get the 3rd enemy, 1, 2, 3. For the 3rd enemy, we can see it's index number 2, because array always starts from 0, right? If it's a first one, index is 0, second one, index is 1, third one, index is 2, and so on. So if I want to get the 3rd enemy, then I should type 2 in a square brackets, and then maybe we can just debug his name. Let's go ahead and try this. Let's see if it works. And indeed, it does work. Now we can see we did debug message enemy 2. Very cool. Now let's go back to script. Now, instead of debugging a message with a name, let's do something different. Let's make this tower target a random enemy every time it is ready to attack. I'm gonna delete this start method, and let's go maybe somewhere here, and let's make a method, private void, find random enemy. So we have information about all of the enemies in one array, and we can get any of them with the index. Now we just need to get a random number that is within range of these array elements. All right. And we can easily do that by using random.range. Let's make a local variable of an integer. I'm gonna name it as random index. And you already know that local variable is available only inside of a curly brackets it was created in. So this will be only inside of this method. Then we're gonna make it equals to random range from 0 to enemy array dot length. Now here comes something confusing, but I feel like I should explain it. If it doesn't make sense to you, just leave it as it is, because we're going to talk about this again, and there's no doubt you will understand it once it comes up again. So, a couple of things. First of all, you can see that element in the array starts from 0, so we have from 0 to 3, but length of the array is 4. And over here, we're doing random range from 0 to enemy array length. So it means we're doing it from 0 to 4. But when you're doing random range, it is always includes the minimum value, as you can see on the screen, and it is excluding the maximum value. And in case of integers, it means it will include 0, but it will exclude 4, which means we'll get random range from 0 to 3. Which basically just perfect for our case, because we have elements from 0 to 3. And even if we will get maximum value inside of this random range, it will be number 3, and we'll just choose the last element. All right, now let's do this. Let's make enemy equals to enemy array with random index, just like that. Now, before we create a new bullet over here, let's just search for random enemy. Or actually, to make it cleaner, let's go over here and do this. Once we're ready to attack, find random enemy, and then create a bullet. Just like that. Let's save it, and let's go back to Unity. Now I'm gonna go to play mode, and we're gonna see that tower gonna choose random enemy every time it shoots. Pew, pew. Now this one was just a lucky coincidence where tower chose the same enemy a couple of times in a row, but after that we can see it chooses random enemy every time it attacks. Very cool, right? So this is one of the ways to have information about all of the enemies in one place. And something about arrays that you should know: they cannot be changed in size after you create them. So once game starts, you cannot change size of the array. It's supposed to be 4 elements as for our example. You cannot delete element from here, you cannot add a new element in here, and that's how it works. However, if you want to change array dynamically, instead you should use a list, because list allows you to add or delete elements from the list at runtime. How it can be useful? Let's say our tower gonna kill enemies now. So it can choose random enemy. Once this enemy is killed, we can delete it from the list. And now tower is going to choose a random enemy from those who left. And then target new random enemy, and then delete it from the list again. If it doesn't make sense, just wait a couple of minutes. We're gonna implement it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's go, maybe first let's remove these. And let's go back over here and remove this array. Now instead, we're gonna make public list, and this is how you declare a list. And we're gonna give it the name of enemy list. Just like that. Now let's save this, and let's go back to Unity. We can see we've got enemy list now, which looks very similar to what we had before, but the difference is this one can now be changed dynamically. Let's fill it up with variables like that. And later on, I'm going to show you how to fill up these variables automatically in the script, but that's going to be later. As of now, let's go to this find random enemy script and do something similar to what we had before. We're going to do something like this. Int random index equals to random range. And rule is the same for min and max, but this time we're going to do from 0 to enemy list dot count, because this is how you get lengths of the list. You do enemy list dot count. Then we're gonna do enemy equals to enemy list with random index. First, let's go and see if this one works. We're gonna save it and go back to Unity. Gonna go to play mode, and we can see it works in a very similar way. Actually, in the same way, right? So this is good. But now I want this bullet to kill enemy. We're gonna go to the bullet script. Over here, we're gonna uncomment this line of code. Now enemy will be destroyed. And if we go to play mode again, we're gonna see that bullet kills the enemy. But once it's killed the enemy, we're gonna have a missing reference in the list. And because of that, we're not gonna be able to find new target again, because tower gonna choose the empty reference, just like it happened now. And because it is empty, we're returning from a method over here. So what we can do instead is to remove enemy from the list once it was chosen as a target. Usually I would remove the enemy from the list when it's killed, but as of now, let's do something simple. Let's just remove it when it's chosen as a target, so it cannot be targeted again. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the tower script, and once we found the index, we're gonna make enemy equals to enemy list with this index. And after that, I'm gonna do enemy list, remove add, and this one allows us to remove element by using index. And we're gonna use random index over here. Now this method will get the random index, then it will assign current enemy to random enemy from the list, and then it will remove the same enemy from the list. Very nice. Now, instead of choosing random enemy every time we're trying to attack, let's try to find random enemy only if we don't have any target assigned under enemy variable. We're gonna remove it from here, just like that. And then we're gonna go to this if statement and type if enemy equals to null, then we need to find random enemy because we need new target. If we don't have any target right now, we need to find a new target. Let's save this and let's go and see how it's going to work. And just to be sure this one is working, I'm gonna go back to Unity and I'm gonna delete reference over here, like that. So now it says none, and if our logic is correct, we're gonna find random enemy over here. And we're gonna remove it from the list. And tower will shoot the bullet at that enemy. Let's go back. Let's go to play mode and let's see how it works. So now tower shoots at random enemy, it is killed, and it is removed from the list. Very nice. Now there are a couple of issues. First of all, we can see this error message, and we see it because tower trying to get random enemy from the list, even though this list is empty. Let's go back to the script and let's fix it real quick. Over here in the find random enemy, we can return if list is empty simply by typing if enemy list dot count is less or equals to 0, then return. And now if there is no elements in the list, we're going to return from here. Because of that, we're not going to be able to find random enemy, and we're just going to return from here every time we enter the update. And basically we're going to stop the tower from functioning. Let's go and try again. And before we do that, you probably noticed that tower shoots 2 bullets at the same enemy, even though it is killed by 1 bullet. The deal is that tower cannot know if enemy will die from this bullet or not, and that's why it tries to shoot it while it is alive. Maybe just to remove this behavior, for now we can change cooldown to 2, like that. Let's go to play mode now. And works perfectly. I like it. Very nice. Now, I guess that's it for this video. We did learn a lot. We talked about array, we talked about list, we learned how to remove element from the list, how to choose a random target, and also how to collect multiple elements under one variable, and that allows us easily get access to any of them. In the next video, I want to show you more. I want to show you how to target closest enemy instead of a random one. And yeah, you did a great job. Let's go to the next video.